Remember me? Yeah, you do. You're even fucking uglier than I am now. What did they do to you? Doesn't matter. That's not how it ends for you, brother. You know who's coming for you. You've always known.
Hi guys, it's Fentony. I'm continuing with my Season 8 videos, and this time I'm going to be talking about Cleganebowl and how I think it's going to happen. Just in case you didn't know, Cleganebowl is the fan term for the long-awaited fight between Sandor Clegane, the Hound, and Gregor Clegane, the Mountain. The backstory is pretty simple. The Mountain pushed the Hound's face into a fire when they were children because the Hound was playing with one of the Mountain's toys. Yeah, even as a child, the Mountain was pretty cruel.
You say your brother gave you that sword. My brother gave me this. It was just like you said a while back. Pressed me to the fire like I was a nice juicy mutton chop.
Why?
Thought I stole one of his toys. I didn't steal it, I was just playing with it. The pain was bad. The smell was worse. But the worst thing was that it was my brother who did it.
The Hound is a fan favourite, especially in Season 7, but the Mountain isn't much of a character. He's more of a big scary dude that kills people. The Mountain is usually heavily armoured and he's part of Cersei's Queen's Guard. And ever since Qyburn saved him, he is basically a giant zombie who is Cersei's personal bodyguard. So in the Season 7 finale, both brothers were in the Dragon Pit, and the Hound did confront his brother and he did tell him, "You know who's coming for your brother. You've always known." This was obviously teasing Cleganebowl, and I think it's pretty much guaranteed. As the end of Season 7, I assume the Hound has went up north to Winterfell to help fight against the White Walkers with Jon Snow, and the Mountain remains in King's Landing guarding Cersei. There will only be 6 episodes in Season 8, but we don't know how long they're going to be. There is talk about them being feature length, and I assume the last 2 are going to be very long, maybe close or even more than 2 hours. But we still don't know, and we still got lots to get through. Cersei and the Night King still remain. Cersei has no intention of helping against the White Walkers, but I think Jon and Dany will know this through Jaime, so that's not going to be a problem. The problem is getting the Hound and the Mountain back in the same room. The Hound's going to be busy fighting Whites and White Walkers, and the Mountain's going to be defending Cersei. The only way I see them being in the same place at the same time is if Cersei comes up north, which I highly doubt is going to happen. I doubt she'll even leave King's Landing, or if the Hound comes down south. Because the Hound and all the good main characters are fighting the White Walkers, I'm thinking they're going to be forced to retreat down south. Will they end up back in King's Landing, and that's where the final fight's going to take place? And that's where Cleganebowl's going to happen? Or has the White Walkers already been defeated, and this happens after, and the final battle is against Cersei? Which I'm not too sure, I think both battles will kind of happen at the same time, but ultimately, the White Walkers are the final boss. So this is my main point of the video. I feel Cersei will use wildfire one more time. I feel she plans on using it against the Army of the Dead and against Jon and Daenerys. And the Hound has to kill his brother to stop the wildfire exploding. I feel the Hound will have to overcome his fear of fire, and wildfire is arguably the most dangerous kind of fire, next to dragonfire. The Hound was really scared of the wildfire back in Season 2 at Blackwater Bay, but this time I think the Hound will step up, and he will stop Cersei using the wildfire. I do think the Mountain will beat the Hound in combat, as he's bigger, stronger, and he's in his zombified form, if you want to call it that, so he's even more dangerous. But the Hound will set the Mountain on fire, and I think the fire will kill the Mountain, and with the Mountain dead, the Hound will take the wildfire and use it against the Whites, destroying a large part of their army. I'm not too sure about how it's exactly going to play out, as it's very difficult to picture this, but it would be a great ending for the Hound. The Hound has done terrible things for the Lannisters, and he was afraid of fire, but he becomes a hero, and he uses the most dangerous fire to destroy a large portion of the Army of the Dead. I'm not too sure if the Hound will survive the explosion, and it would be pretty sad, and he would die a hero though. I would prefer it if the Hound does live, and perhaps he's knighted at the end, as he always hated people calling him a knight, because he wasn't. There is quite a lot I want to see from the Hound, so I hope he gets a lot of screen time in Season 8. He was one of the best parts of Season 7, especially in Episode 1 and 6. I assume he's going up to Winterfell, which means he should meet Sansa and Arya there. He's got history with both the Stark sisters, as he was Joffrey's personal bodyguard when Sansa was in King's Landing, and I always felt the Hound had a soft spot for Sansa. He used to call her Little Bird, and he even offered to take her to Winterfell during the Battle of Blackwater. And as for Arya, the Hound and her have a lot of history. He planned on selling her to Robb and then to Lysa Arryn, but over time, I feel the Hound started to care for her. He even admitted to Brienne in season 7 that he was trying to protect her.
I was only trying to protect her.
You and me both.
She's alive. Arya.
Where?
Winterfell.
Who's protecting her if you're here?
The only one that needs protecting is the one that gets in her way.
It won't be me.
And Arya did leave the Hound to die of his wounds in season 4, but by leaving him, he found Brother Ray, and then the Brotherhood without banners, and in turn, redemption and honour. Forrest of Mere told the Hound he believes the Lord of Light has a role for him, and I feel his role will be to use fire, which is his biggest fear, against the army of the dead, and help win the war for the Dawn. The Lord of Light is still a mystery, and I hope season 8 explains it all, but I do believe the Hound is important, and he will overcome his fear of fire, and not only save the Stark girls, but the entire realm. So what do you think? Will Cleganebowl happen, and how will it go down? Will the Hound use fire to kill the Mountain? That seems pretty obvious to me. And do you think the Hound will end up using wildfire against the Whites? I do think wildfire is going to be used again, and I was torn between Jaime or the Hound using it to destroy the Whites, as both of them have a backstory and history of it, but I chose the Hound as his fear of fire was a big part of his character, and I feel this would be the best ending, but you could say Jaime using it would also work, as he prevented the Mad King from using it against the people of King's Landing, but I'm thinking more so the Hound. I'm starting to think the Hound dying in the fire might be the best ending for him. It would be very bittersweet, and he would go out as a hero. So leave all your Cleganebowl predictions for season 8 in the comments below, and if you're just finding the channel for the first time, please hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.